In this week's episode of Post Your Mistakes with Awesome Framers. Beautiful looking stairway, right? We have identical risers all the way, except the bottom one. So this stairway weighs 1,100 pounds. Look at that. All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are going to build the front porch stairs. But this is going to be a little different than maybe you're used to seeing. We're not going to use composite decking. We're not even going to cut stair stringers. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is figure out my elevations. That's going to help me determine my riser height. Now, I just had a ladder in the garage. This house is just about finished, by the way. All I need is a stable platform to set my laser. This is the Stabila LAX600G. It's a cross-line laser, so this guy shoots level. Both of these shoot vertical, 90 degrees to each other. All right, and I can totally see that line. So from the top of my finished deck, I have 25 and 5/16. So 25 and 5/16. And then I know I have 10 treads. So that's gonna put me somewhere out right about here. 38, 14. Yeah, 38 and 14. 38 and 7/8 plus 25 and 5/16. 64, 64, 3. 64 and 3/16. Okay, so these treads, according to the drawings, are 2.5 by 12. Measuring that, boy, that's awfully close. It's like 2.5 strong. That's pretty impressive. By 12. So what I did is I cut a block. This is just gonna help me space things out when I lay out the stringer. Pretty much the same. Plus or minus something. Right to the bottom of the stringer. Oops, that's backwards. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, this is like take 5. Clearly I'm not very good at this. Okay, so there's a few things that you have to keep in mind when laying out stringers without cutting them. Normally when we cut a stringer, we would lay out riser, tread, work our way down, and then we would cut that triangle out because our riser is going to attach, our tread is going to attach. In this case, I want to keep the full stringer for strength and longevity. I don't want to cut it. I'm going to mount the treads between the stringers. So think of it more like a housed stringer. Housed. I have to take into account the bracket that attaches to the stringer and the tread, and the tread itself, which is 2.5 by 12. So essentially, that's how it's going to mount. It's going to fit something like that. This will all make a whole lot more sense once we're done. Okay, so 64-inch 3/16 divided by 11 rises, that'll be 10 treads, is 5 and 13/16. I'm going to write that down. 5 and 13/16. If I subtract the thickness of the tread minus 2.5 inches, it's 3 and 5/16. I have to keep that less than 4 inches. So 5 and 13/16 is our rise. Okay, so I'm going to adjust these so that I have 10 inches right here and 5 and 13/16 right there. Okay, so 5 and 13/16 and 10. Okay, so I have 10, 5 and 13. I'm just gonna work all the way down from the top, making sure that I'm good there. Line up my 10. Make sure my stair gauges are tight. Line up my 10. Okay, so this is why this just gets a little bit funkier. So what I'm gonna do is just straighten all of these through, because I know I'm going to have to move right along. Incidentally, this is a titanium Rafter square from Martinez with my logo. Mark gifted me that. This is a tool I will pass down to my grandchildren, even if they have no idea what it's for. Okay, so these line up. Is now what I have to do is if I line this up on each of them, they will be the same. We've already laid out our horizontal, so our tread, and our vertical or our riser. Because that's constant, then as long as I move down to each one and I line this up and I make sure that that's nice and straight on the top, then that will make sure that they are all exactly the same. Okay, so these are going to connect to the wood, the brackets, with a 3/8 lag. So I'm going to use my 1/4 inch bit eventually. Just going to lay that down. Now, I only need 10 of these treads, and I can see right now that if I line this up, I'm hitting a knot. So I'm going to start with this guy, and here's how I'm going to do this. I have my block with a center mark, and it lines up with the center mark on this. And so I'm just going to slide this over until this edge right at the bottom is right on the money, and that I'm good on the line. Then I'm just going to take this and I'm doweling that, or I'm just dimpling that. Okay? Then I'm going to come down, and I'm always going to make sure that the top lines up. And if I hold it with my one hand and my thumb here, make sure that's right on the line. Then I'm just going to dimple, dimple, keep it lined up, center, center, slide it till I can feel it, say about right there. Okay, make sure that's on the money. Okay, keep pressure, and make sure that's lined up. I got Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros playing in my ears. I'm just going to hold each one of these and actually just drill. Make sure that I'm centered. That little dimple helps me to locate the pilot bit, or the whatever that's called. Gonna make you sweat till you bleed. Is that dope enough? Indeed. Jump to the rhythm, jump, jump to the rhythm, jump. I had this on cassette. 6th grade, 7th grade? Okay, so what I have to do is locate the bracket. That's right on the money. This is my tread. Is I'm gonna mark this. That's where the tread essentially touches the rim up above. Okay, so if I line up that mark that I just is the back of my tread, that's 4 1/16. I'm gonna add a corner. So I'm gonna go 4 5/16. I'm just lining this up here. 4 5/16, because I want a 1/4 inch between the tread and the deck itself. We can always seal that up with something like Lexel later, or just let it drain. Be easier to clean out this way. So I have, this is 1 tread, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 treads. Okay, so one of the last things I got to do here at the bottom is I've got my tread, my bracket. This is what would normally rest against the concrete, but I want the heel to basically rest on this bracket. But obviously that would then push it up too much. So I'm actually going to adjust it so it's more like this. That way the heel lands on support. If I cut this thing to the post base, then I'll have about 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/8 standoff. I can seal the end grain, and that's going to help it last a lot longer. Okay. My riser height was 5 1/13, but that is the top of the decking.
Our TikTok star here.
Oh yeah. No, I don't show enough skin for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to cut that and that. Okay. Oh, I cut the wrong one. That makes more sense. Yeah, let's use this guy. How does it look? Yeah. The 2x12 just allows me to do all of my layout, make mistakes, pre-drill holes, all that good stuff. If it's correct, now it's the pattern so that I get 2 identical stringers. You can also use those holes then to just drill right into the stringers. You'll see that in just a minute. I get identical stringers, or as Mark Hendrickson would say, identical snowflakes. Here is a pro tip for you. Never order your material the exact length that you need. Now you notice in the foreground, one of those stringers just got a super ugly knot. That is the nature of pressure treated wood. Order it a little bit longer. That's scrap if you need it, Kyle. Incidentally, I cannot say enough good things about that saw. It's a cordless saw that's 10 1/4 inches. It's the Makita XGT that is lighter than those skill saws that we used back in the 90s. By like 2 pounds. It is unreal to me how far technology has come. This saw rolls out every day. We have 2 of them. Hey, look at that. I don't know what that means, but for years we've been rounding over the edges of beam work, especially if it's decorative or it's exposed, like a front porch, or like post and beam, timber trusses, whatever they are. I think it's like a 1/4 inch round over bit. That works out pretty good. The wood itself is kind of ugly. This way it looks a little prettier. Now this is Doug fir and is treated, the way lumber is treated here is it doesn't fully penetrate. So those edges that are cut or they are rounded over, I need to put preservative. You can see the bottle there on the right, kind of in the corner. I just bought it at our local lumber yard. This time I decided just to roll it on everything so there was a nice consistent look to it. The stuff reeks, but it does its job very well. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is part of the reason why we go through this process is because it's less expensive. Those stringers are going to last a long, long, long time because we're really not cutting into them like normal rise and run, right? Each one of those, even if you G-tape them, they just tend to crack and split over time, especially pressure treated. It's just kind of ugly material. But the 4x12s will last a long time. Second, the concrete treads are only $58 a piece, including the hardware and the lags, the nuts, or the bolts and the washers. You kind of see there in the little bag. So for us, it's less expensive and it will last longer. Like on, yep, just like that. Perfect. Okay. Now we'll see if we can make it. If not, I have to pull out that lag. You can come my way. Hey, look at that. We don't even have to hold it. Yeah. Yep. Strimson thong tie. Here's a trick. Has anybody ever showed you that? Yeah. I was like, I was many years old, like probably 40. And I saw it on social media. And I was like, are you kidding? Yeah, that's fine. And let's make sure that the inside number, right there at the top, Yeah, right there. Yeah, go ahead and do the bottom. All right. Nicely done, boys. Yeah, see, I think they're like 100 pounds. Yeah, do number 2. Okay. And we do want a gap. So this is going to be a really good job for Gavin. You want to just lay down like a mechanic and just finger thread them for now. Yeah, I get them all started and before I tighten anything. And we'll see if we have access, we might just set them all and then quickly tighten them, you know? Yeah.
Okay. I could tighten them more, but they're basically tight. You getting a shot of that?
I'll just pull it tight. So is it just this guy?
No, everyone's good.
Everyone's good.
Yeah.
So let's loosen these. And then Kyle, I think if his tight there, let's just pull this guy.
Or just loosen it.
Yeah, loosen him because I want to tighten that gap up just a little. Okay, try that. Today. Today. Tighten.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, yeah, 3/16 gap. So I think this guy, yeah, and that's like a quarter. Big deal. I like the idea of a quarter 3/16 because people can blow it out of debris, but we got no trees. Nice job, Gavin. What are you looking for? Oh, 8-inch screw? He's an animal. I told you, he's an animal. Oh man, I love the leg sticking out.
I like the dirt that all the way up my shoulder. Trying to hide my tan line.
What I'm gonna do, Gavin, is I'm just gonna start these,
Okay.
and then we'll tweak your side. Here more. And then could go back just a hair. What did I just do with the drill? I was like, okay, those are all tight. Nicely done, boys. Okay, that looks pretty good. Hey, that was pretty good. And then we can always help push it back and forth.
So this whole, like, there's one that's just not going in. Like it seems like a hole too small.
Do I need to go your way or?
I can shove back. Would that help?
No, like it's like the hole they drilled is too small.
You know, in all my years, I have been a laborer. Yeah, I just did not like the fact that there was a laborer on site. Until a few weeks ago when Gavin joined the crew. Now, I love a laborer. Gavin, how you doing down there, man?
I'm doing fantastic.
I gotta say, I don't squeeze into spots like that as well as I used to. You're doing good, man.
My way.
Yeah, you know, we're having fun. I'm having fun up here. But in all seriousness, I always insisted on being the guy in the crawl space and that kind of stuff because I don't want to make anybody's job miserable, and I'm good at that kind of thing. But I've changed my mind. I'm turning a new leaf over. Yeah, you know what I think?
I think there's that drilled.
No, it's the galvanizing. I got it. If you kind of back them out, this kind of thing always happens with these galvanized screws. I think you'll basically be able to overcome it with the impactor. Yeah, I solved it. Us old guys, man. Does this make my biceps look big? All right. Why did I go the wrong way?
These are like beveled.
Right?
Still got it.
You should have seen some of the stuff they had in their yard, like smooth, like kind of curved bases that you could build a picnic table off the top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Cool stuff for that stamped concrete.
I wouldn't mind this job. I just put my headphones in,
Oh yeah.
the inside of a building. So what I can do, I mean, I used to be able to do this alone.
Carry the first few, and I'm like, okay.
Well, that's how I tweaked my back was last time doing this. And I had never done something like that before.
I have to drop this one down, this last bracket.
Well, I mean, the thing to do, it's not really possible now because of this bracket. The only thing you could do is rig up with the forklift, unscrew it, lift it up out of this thing, cut the drop it back down. And I keep missing something.
Yeah, one day he used to tell me, you run around doing 9% of everything, you end up getting like 10% done, 700. 96% of everything.
In this week's episode of Post Your Mistakes with Awesome Framers, beautiful looking stairway, right? We have identical risers all the way, except the bottom one. So this stairway weighs 1,100 pounds. Look at that perfectly preserved piece. In case you're wondering, I did have the standoff for that Simpson bracket there on the bottom right. I did have that marked on my template. I just didn't cut that mark. Okay, yeah, just lean it that way. All told, it took less than an hour to fix. Forklift was down the street, rigged it, lifted it, and you see the rest. Crisis diverted. Yeah, real slow. Wasn't that difficult to fix. It really wasn't that big of a deal to fix. We're really good at rigging things and lifting them out. Anyway, there's the stairway. It's all done. We used a decorator's baluster. It's a square baluster, really easy to install. I like the look. There's still some touch-up to do. The painters were working on the inside while we were doing the stairway. This house is basically done. As of today, the voiceover, the interior plumbing trim is going to be done, and I believe carpet goes in this week. Landscapers, I think, start this week. So this one is right there on the home stretch. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I know it's kind of a new way of doing things, but it really is a stout stair. It's going to last a long time. We did this at my house 20-some years ago, and they are holding up quite well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Even if you don't like it, just do it anyway.